Hello, thank you for joining me in the Fassst Lane. You know what this is. Your humble servant, Jay Mack. And you know what it is. If you're living, you might as well be legendary. Just follow the link in the description box that'll lead you to my nephew's site that sells these t-shirts, Living Legends. Thank you for your support. You're under no obligation to buy. Just go and check it out and see what you like. You know what this is. This your boy, Jay Mack, your humble servant, the living legend. Now, I say we know what I mean we, since hopefully it's more than one person watching it. Anyway, we're going to be discussing how to spot witchcraft activities in your life in the physical world. We can deal with the dreams later while I pick examples from the dreams I had. Now, in the real world, this is how you can tell. Because then, hey, you may have the dream and you may be dreaming it, and it may not be a crazy dream that startles the living daylights out of you and make you search, and then you come upon it. But anyway, since you're here watching this video, chances are you may have noticed things going on in your life. Well, it could be from witchcraft activities as well as it may not be. But that's neither here nor there. You're watching the video, so why not learn how to spot witchcraft activities in your life? Well, anyway, the first thing, 1, sudden unexplainable turn of events. It's like you're doing what you're supposed to achieve a certain goal, ends, or means. Then all of a sudden, of nowhere, there's a roadblock. You got derailed. And none of it makes sense. And even though life happens, but especially if either someone or people around you are doing half of what you are doing, and they're making further progress than you, having less resistance in life than you. That's a warning sign. I could write that book. I can write that book very well. That's the first thing to be on the lookout for. When sudden turns of events. Oh, and another thing. When you are qualified for something that you were prepared for, and you don't get it. But those less qualified, they're able to get the very thing either you were looking for or competing for. If you're competing, I hate to use that example, but I just want you to pay attention to your circumstances and your peers, especially. If your peers, when I say peers, I don't mean friends, but people in your age bracket or something like that. If they're advancing further and faster than you, and you're more qualified than they are, something's amiss. May not be. But in life, things are about timing. So it could just be life. But I don't want you to say if these things that are less happen, or it's witchcraft activity. No. It's when too many of them start showing up in your life. Red flag. The second one, delays that make no sense. Especially when others are moving ahead of you and you're both doing the same thing at the same time. Oh, my phone was in the sun, sorry. Now, I give an example. Now, I had applied for a scholarship at this company that gives those scholarships. So I applied, they sent a letter back. Oh, sorry, you applied late, and the scholarships that were in before mine was in the money had run out when it came to you. So what I did, the next time, because they give us scholarships twice a year, I sent mine in a month before the deadline, which I did the first time. The same thing. Now, the third time, I sent it in 6 weeks ahead. Someone who I know very well had applied 2 weeks before the deadline, and they had told me about it. So I say, all right, yeah, okay, thank you. So I didn't let them know that I had already done it, and this was like my third time. Now, I got the letter telling me, oh, you applied too late. The budget had already been met by the time all the people who applied before you had been given scholarships. There was no money when it came to you because you applied late. No, I applied a month before the deadline, the first time, the second time, the third time, 6 weeks. Now, the person who told me about it, who applied 2 weeks before the deadline, they got their letter in the mail 3 weeks after I got mine. And it read completely different. They congratulated them, spoke about how they qualified and they're looking forward to them having a bright future. Now, the same company told me they didn't have money in the budget for me. But the person who went after me, who told me about it, they gave them double what I had asked for, what I had applied for. And I'm like, how does that make sense? Now, the reason why I graduated high school a year before this person, so that's why I was able to apply 3 times. The first time was in March, and by April they contact you. Excuse me. So when they told me about it, this was my third time. They got approved, they got double what I asked for, and they told me there was no money. Fine. Now, Mr. Ewan spoke about the spirit of rejection. That's another thing we have to get into. These spirits, you got to recognize these spirits, people, so you can cancel them and neutralize them and rebuke them. And when you go on a fast, after you consult with your physician, you go on a fast to defeat this evil spirit on you. Or that's on you, that maybe you've been sacrificed to the beast. Or someone's trying to send it at you. So that was my first experience. Let me know something is wrong. I'm more than qualified. I did it ahead of time. By the third time, 3 strikes and you're out. I figured, all right, yeah, y'all don't owe me nothing. I'm not running after you. One thing I don't do is beg. I'll starve first before I beg. Especially someone who wants me to beg them. I'll spit in your face first and starve. So I was like, you know what? You can keep that scholarship. That's yours. I don't get mad at people for their things. But may God be with you. If you need me, don't let your life depend on me helping you. Like I told you, I'm no man to God. You don't disrespect me, I think I'm gonna grin in your face. I'm sorry. You caught the wrong bus. The third thing, rejection. Now, like how Minister Ewan, even though there's delays and rejection, but that delay was also a rejection because that disrupted my whole life. So that delayed many things entering my life because I'm 18 months behind. Now rejection, excuse me, that was also one example of rejection where I'm more than qualified, but I don't get. Then there's excuse after excuse. But the excuses that you give me don't apply to those who who are less qualified, who applied later than me. So I realized something is wrong, but I couldn't figure it out. I associated this wrongness with humans, not knowing this is coming from the spirit world. Well, anyway, now Minister Ewan will talk about rejection, like in the dream. Like in the dream, he said, if you go, there's a line at the ATM. When it's your turn, there's no money. You go to the store for a sale. By the time you get there, what you want sold out. Then he talk about what happens like in real life. Like you go to the drive-thru, like a fast food place, right? And the person has an attitude with you. They don't know what you look like. You don't know what they look like. They don't know you. You don't know them. You have no interaction with them, but they're having an attitude. And I noticed that also in some bookstores that I frequent. Like all of a sudden, a part owner in one and the owner of another would get snappy with me. Now, the owner of one bookstore, I don't show up there no more. But then I saw, I didn't show up there for like 5 years, but then I saw her just 6 months ago. She spoke to me like me and her the best of friends. And I'm like, then my mind went on what Minister Ewing was said about the spirit of rejection. Then I realized, oh, that must be off me. No, I'm still not shopping at the store. Why? Because no one crosses me and gets away with it. And I sure as hell will never give you my money. I've been coming to your shop for 10, 15 years. I never stole from you. I never asked for no discount. But the price is, I pay it. And I leave. Then all of a sudden, and the more I went, the more rude, disrespectful they got. So one lady, I had to cuss her out. Like I told you, I'm no man to God. But you've got to look for things like that. Like people just turn on you for no reason. Like let's say if you want to go to the bank. The path you take to get to the bank, there's no traffic. You need to get to the bank. All of a sudden there's traffic. When you start seeing things like that, just beware. When things that normally go smooth, all of a sudden there's an issue, rebuke that spirit. Oh, and another thing, things going missing. This was some serious stuff. When you see your things going missing, take a deep breath. Breathe out nice and slow. And you condemn and rebuke that spirit. That's an evil spirit. You put your stuff down. When you come back, it's not there. Especially if it's just you one in the house. Does it sound crazy? I pause for a fact. When you see that happening, take a deep breath, rebuke that spirit, and if you can, go on a week fast for 12 hours. Just skip breakfast and eat at noon. But consult with your physician first. And you give your fast the purpose of breaking that spirit. I don't know what you call that. Things going missing. But I just say whoever caused that, whatever spirit this is, come against you and you rebuke that. That right there is sent to frustrate you. And then you stop thinking, your brain works on a different frequency when you're frustrated. Your mind works on a different frequency when you're frustrated, on a lower one. So you're not on a high frequency. You're not alert. Then you get angry. Then your spirit gets vexed. And then that's the spirit you can curse right there. The spirit of vexation of spirit. I learned that from T.D. Jakes with, I can't remember the sermon. Oh my God. I used to listen to that all the time. You can't think when your spirit is vexed. It's vexed. So you've got, this is why you take the deep breath. So your body, you don't allow your mind and body to respond. So your things going missing. Allow your spirit to be vexed. So when you see things go missing, take a deep breath and rebuke that spirit. And especially if it's just you went in the house, you got to go on a fast. Consult with your physician first. Do a 6-hour fast for a week. Bang. Now take for example, my books go missing, but no one touches it. And I'm like, how my book goes missing, my books go missing, and no one is touching it? I have a book, I've been looking for that book for almost 20 years. I cannot find it. No one touched it. No one, whoever I ask, who comes to my house, did they move this book? And they will say, no, but my book's missing. No one touched it, but it's missing. I had that book for 30 years. It's an old Aesop fable. It's about this thick, with Aesop fables. Then there are other books go missing. Excuse me. I'm like, how are my books going missing? And of course, I didn't respond well. I would be angry. I'd be upset. And guess what? Because I'm angry and upset, I just can't see the book. Oh, and another thing, yeah, my clothes started going missing. I had bought like 9 handmade silk neckties from this Italian man who's going out of business. Because I usually go there and buy ties and scarves for my mother. For $100, he gave me 9 ties. And I only wore half of them once. Because I usually wear my birthday, New Year's, Christmas. They were gone. Hand painted silk ties, Italian hand painted silk ties, gone. No one touched it, so they claim, but it's gone. Things like that, especially when it's upsetting you. I've been seeing saying that's a tormenting spirit. You got to cancel that tormenting spirit too. And the frustration. You got to cancel that. Now, the 5th thing you got to deal with is foul odors or strange smells. Like for me, I would smell someone smoking in the morning. First thing in the morning. I usually get up 5:45 in the morning. So I'm taking a deep breath, and the next thing you know, I smell cigarette smoke. And it used to make me so angry, it made my heart burn. Because I'm like, who's smoking this early in the morning? But then there's no one. This went on for a year, and I had to learn, you know what, let me stay calm. And to calm down, I would go and swim. Because that nonsense had caused my blood pressure to go up. Because I was angry all the time. And I realize now that was the ploy. But I was able to counter it. It can't work again. So the smell went from cigarettes to cigars. But because I like cigars, I don't smoke, but I like the smell, especially the very expensive cigars. I love the way they smell. So I guess since I didn't get angry doing that, it stopped. Then I start smelling alcohol, but I don't drink. And I'm like, who's drinking this early in the morning? But it didn't get me as angry as smelling cigarettes. But when I get up and I smell a cigarette smell, I go and swim. And I say, oh, no. I'm not going to respond to this by getting angry and make myself sick. So that had stopped. And another thing, you're going to start smelling real foul, stink, funky scents in your house. Now, first, for me, it started off with dead animal, and I tear my house up. Nothing. I tear up where I smell the smell. Nothing. I pour bleach, ammonia, pine, salt, every fragrance you could think of in the area where I smell the smell. Nothing. Then I went from that to rotting onions. And I'm like, where's the smell? I cleaned my whole joint up. From last year until October, I've been smelling rotten onions in my place. And the thing is, it is only in 3 different sections. And I'm like, there's nothing here. It is absolutely nothing where that smell is coming from. And I know exactly what that meant, because Minister Ewan spoke about that. And of course, I went on my fast. I bind and rebuke that smell, the scent, whatever that's for, trying to torment my spirit, trying to vex my spirit. I dealt with that. Now, as of November, the last week in October, I went on a week fast to deal with that. Now, I don't smell it anymore. So, these are things you got to look out for. Number 6. Breakdowns in things you own, especially a car. Because you need your car to get to work. And while your car is broken down, you got to go find someone to fix it, hope they fix it, buy the parts, hope the store has the part. While you're doing all of that, you still have to go to and from work. And when you get paid, you can pay the mechanic, hope it works. I can tell you now, I don't get nobody's business. People, I've had the used car curse. And I made it a point that I'm never going to buy another used car. And I bought a brand new car, this one. And things went wrong with this that shouldn't have gone wrong. But now that I do, learn from Minister Ewing, when I get my car, I thank God for it. I ask God to watch over me. And I ask for his protection. Now, in addition to your car, there's going to be like your television, appliances, like towel rack, the faucet breaking, the valves breaking, the toilet, something going wrong with the toilet. When you close the valves, it won't close properly and it drips. So now you got to go get a plumber, your water heater going off. When you see all these things happening, now, Mr. Ewan said that this is a sign of a spirit of poverty. So, that could be one spirit. That's the major spirit. Because once you're in poverty, more nonsense piles up on top of your life to crush you. So you got to deal with that beast. And like the Bible says, this spirit can't just come out just like that. It has to be dealt with prayer and fasting. You're going to have to do a lot of fasting. So make sure you consult with your physician. As you're going to have to take the fight to the spirit world, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, that's about it. Today we break down. So, let me tell you some of the shoe. I bought me a brand new pair of shoes. I walk out of the shoe store into the parking lot. The bottom of my shoe fell off. How? So I went back. The lady was like, well, that's not our fault. You left the store with it. So I said, I don't argue with you. I can do like my friend. I don't argue with the staff. Where's the manager? I call the manager. The manager was like, well, you walk out of the store. I said, no. I gave you my money. I want my money's worth. So it took 30 minutes to sort it out. I got another shoe. I never went back to that store. It's been like 10 years. Never. For the shoe, but more or less for the customer service. And this is something that I noticed. I didn't see it until my sister pointed out. If I buy a brand new cell phone, within a year the thing breaks. The charging port, most of the time it's the charging port, or I have to change the battery. And it got to the point where if I need a new phone, I would either let one of my sisters get it or my wife. Because it seems like, how you doing? Like everything I touch, I had the minus touch. So, when you see things like that happening, make sure you take a deep breath, you rebuke it, and go on a fast. A light one, medium one, heavy one. Whatever your circumstances is, whatever your physician tell you to do, you do it. Now me, my everyday fast is 6 hours. A 6-hour fast. So to me, that's an ordinary one. A heavy one, a light one for me would be a 9-hour fast for a week, or a 12-hour fast for a week, or a heavy fast for me would be 7 days, or I do a 6 to 12 fast for a month. Now I had to do that for what I was dealing with. You assess your situation, speak to your physician, and govern yourself accordingly. Oh, another thing. This is the seventh and last one, and I'll leave you alone. Hearing cracks and noises in your house. At first, I thought it was a rat in the house, just crawling around. But I'm looking for like breaks in the wall. But I'm like, why would a rat crawl up to the roof, from the ground up to the roof and around the roof? But how would the rat get inside the roof? Then I thought it was a cat. But then a cat, there's no way for the cat to get inside the house, inside the wall, and climb up. Then I started hearing the noise. This is like around 3 to 5 o'clock in the morning when I would get up to use the bathroom. This is when I realized it's not an animal. The noise was in the cement blocks. And I'm like, hold on. It could maybe get in the dry wall, but how are the animals getting in the concrete? And that puzzled me, and I couldn't figure that out. And then the noise would go into the roof and would walk around the roof, crawl around the roof. And I'm like, what in the name of God is this? But I thought I was dreaming, because when I get to use the bathroom, and I go back to sleep. I remember Minister Ewing said that when you hear creaking in the house, so when you hear that, people, take a deep breath, relax, and rebuke it. You know what to do. If that don't work, it's time to drop nukes in the spirit world. Consult your physician. Load up the nukes and start dropping them, people. These people playing rough. You gotta play rougher. Get your Scarface on. Introduce them to your little friend. And show no mercy. Anyway, thank you for joining me. You know what this is. Your favorite living legend, Jay Mack in the Fassst Lane. Thank you for joining me. Live legendary, people. All right, goodbye.